and welcome back to the WMED Plus app. This is Sideline Stories. I am WMED weekend sports anchor Patrick Cunningham here. Happy New Year, everyone. Recording this on January 1st, 2026. Hoping to start the new year with a blast here as we take a look back at some of our favorite stories from Central Illinois in 2025. We're going to go through a couple of stories today, two from me and one from our sports director, Kurt Pegler. If you have any New Year's resolutions, be sure to let us know. I was hoping for a Texas Tech win today. Both my brothers are Red Raider graduates, and family was hoping for a win to get them in the college football playoff semifinals, and it turns out I ended up scoring as many points as the Red Raiders did. So hoping for a better rest of the day and a better rest of the year than what we've started so far. But to look back here on 2025 here in Central Illinois, we had a lot of great stories. It was very hard to whittle it down to just three. But we're going to start with a basketball story that actually won an award here at WMBD this past year from the Illinois Broadcasters Association. It was put together by myself. It came at the end of last year's Pekin Holiday Tournament, the 2024 tournament, but it was eligible for an award win in 2025 this past October. And to recap you, if you don't remember last year's holiday tournament, Morton Potters were the tournament champions. Wes Gudeman was the tournament MVP. While interviewing him after the game, and it had to be a quick interview because I had a show about an hour later and had to hustle back from Pekin, I just said to him, you know, something that they teach you in college in Journalism 101, at the end of every interview, you always throw out a question like, anything you want to talk about that I haven't mentioned today? Any other comment? 99% of the time, they're going to say no. But that 1% of the time, sometimes you get your best stories just kind of handed to you on a silver platter. And so I asked him, you know, anything else you want to add? And he was like, yeah, I just want to thank my mom for being here. She had a heart attack on Christmas Eve, but was able to fight through it and come to this championship game and watch me play. And I was like, back that up. We're going to talk about that a little bit here. And so I got to talk with Wes Gudeman and his mom at the end of that game, put together a story about it, and the Illinois Broadcasters Association for 2025 awarded me Best Sportscaster of the Year for Medium Markets, which is pretty much everywhere outside Chicago. And I don't believe it includes St. Louis either. I sometimes get confused whether they include St. Louis in that, since technically that market is based in Missouri, but it does extend into East St. Louis and Southwest Illinois. So without further ado, here's that story from last year's Pekin Holiday Tournament on Wes Gudeman and his mom's medical emergency.
Wes Gudeman spent Christmas week leading his team to a Pekin tournament title. His performance and wins over three-time defending champ Mount Carmel and Moline earned him MVP honors, an incredible feat after his mom's medical emergency at the height of the holiday season.
She had like a heart attack on Christmas Eve, and you know, she's here in the building watching this game. You know, that's just motherly love, and I couldn't do anything without her.
I was having pressure in my chest, and then I was having achiness down my arms. A couple EKGs showed abnormalities, and they did an emergency angioplasty and found that I didn't actually have a blockage, but I had a tear in one of my arteries.
The tournament began with Christy out of commission, but Wes knew she was still there with him.
You know, I knew she probably wasn't going to be here, but, you know, I just knew she was watching at home and yelling at the TV, so I was playing for her.
Such a strong kid, and I think it was definitely on his mind. He was back and forth from the hospital quite a bit, but he pulled it together.
You know, none of us really knew about it until he said something to a teammate, and I went up to him and asked him about it. And, you know, I'm glad we could pick him up and get this one for him, especially it being his senior year.
You know, once I get on the court, I just think about basketball. That's the great thing about it. You know, it can escape any problem.
To be back on Saturday, doctors needed Christy to keep her blood pressure low. Not an easy task, but the Gudemans put a plan together.
I would never miss this championship game for anything, so I just made sure I took my meds this morning and stayed in bed until we had to get here. The unknown of life, really, and but being here at Pekin, watching the kids do what they love.
Time is short, and, you know, it's precious with your family, and, you know, it was just not how we expected Christmas to go, but, you know, Gooden family just rolled with it, and, you know, this one's for her.
awesome story, and I thank them so much for being able to share that story with me, because I was very taken aback by that when they first told me, but ended up turning out really nice, and Illinois Broadcast Association won as well. During that night where I won that award, our own Brianna Rittman won an award as well for her multicultural outreach efforts, and then the station overall won Station of the Year across Illinois, so that was a great honor as well, and a great night. That was back in late October. Now, coming up here in just a few minutes, I'll share with you another story that came across this year. It's a bit more on the sad end. Washington softball first baseman Bailey Parrott had started her senior year with high hopes. Panthers were expected to be very good and make a deep run in the playoffs. About few weeks into the season, her father and her grandfather were killed in by an alleged drunk driver down in the Nashville area while they were playing on a spring break tournament. And she just talked to me about how she navigated that and used softball kind of as a new home and a distraction and a way to get away from the tragedy of that, and how she helped kind of anchor that team through a deep run in the softball playoffs. So that'll be coming up next. We'll be right back. Welcome back to this edition of Sideline Stories here on the WMBD Plus app. I am WMBD Weekend Sports anchor Patrick Cunningham. All right, we just showed you one of my favorite stories from this past year. Here is another story that I did involving another Middle Illini school. This time it's Washington. Washington High senior first baseman on the softball team, Bailey Parrott. Her father and her grandfather were killed in a car crash by an alleged drunk driver down in the Nashville area while the team was down for a tournament that a lot of teams nationally come in for during their respective spring breaks. She ended up having a wide-ranging interview with me, and she was so strong during this interview. The story was done about 6 weeks after the crash. Did much better than I could have. She showed tremendous strength and grit through not just this interview, but the whole season as they navigated something that most of us could not even begin to imagine, the pain of that. Not just losing your dad and grandfather, but having to come back home, having to go through the rest of your senior year, having to try and keep it together during the softball season when a whole lot of other teammates are counting on you. It was entirely her decision to speak with me. Didn't pressure at all, just reached out as the playoffs were starting and asked if she wanted to talk about it. And she chose, she said yes, and chose to do it in the home dugout of the Washington High School softball field. So it's a lengthy interview, but she talked about growing up with her dad and grandfather, huge sports-loving families, went to a ton of Bradley games, went to plenty of baseball games, football games growing up, and talked about also navigating the aftermath of their family tragedy. So without further ado, here is Washington High School senior Bailey Parrott.
Bailey Parrott was born to be in a sports-loving family. Her mom, Erin, played softball. Her father, Brad, baseball. They would spend hours together in the batting cages.
He was the best. We would sit in like the backyard for hours playing catch, and then he would take me up to at bat to hit like throughout the night. Like it could be 10 o'clock. I'd be like, "Can we go to at bat?" And he'd like, "Yeah."
Bailey's dad and her grandfather, William, instilled into her their love of sports, from the pros down to the Bradley Braves.
We are huge Cub fans. We're just big into everything, like Bradley basketball, Tennessee football. I would just go over to his house and we would just like have like good quality time together.
Brad always filmed Bailey's at-bats. When she was 14, he captured every ball player's coveted milestone.
I was getting so close, but I never hit a home run, and he was like, "Today's the day. Like, you're hitting a home run." Kind of gets a little crazy because I think he got excited.
Get out of here.
I was just really happy. I remember I pumped my fist up in the air when I rounded first base.
But fast forward to March 27th, 2025. Just as Bailey's senior season got underway, her life was forever altered.
First tonight, 2 men from Central Illinois were killed early this morning in a crash in Tennessee.
Now the duo were visiting the Nashville area to see the Washington Panthers play in a softball tournament.
We were just taking lines for ground balls, and my mom and my stepdad came over and they were like, "It's an emergency," and I was like, "Oh my God, like what's going on?" I walked over and then they told me, and I was just like in shock. I fell to the ground, like it was bad.
Jan Smith Field turned into Bailey's safe space, away from her new reality.
I just feel very comfortable here, like especially it's gotten me like through a lot of like sad times. Like if I'm like upset, like I'm like, at least I have softball later.
Less than a week after the crash, Washington was scheduled for their first home game. There was no question in Bailey's mind. She was going to play.
I know that's what they would have wanted, and I know how excited they would have been for opening day. They'd be texting me like, oh, go hit a home run, go play good.
With their 2 seats behind home plate left open and much of the town gathered, the game started quick, with Bailey recording the first 2 outs.
Okay, I'm ready now. I can take a breath. Like, I was so nervous. This is perfect. Like, this was for me.
Then, in her very first at bat, an RBI base hit.
Like, once it got past the pitcher, I was like, okay, thank God. But it was very scary, but it was great. I was just so proud of myself, and then seeing my teammates, it was really great. Like, it almost made me cry. And then, like, I ran over to Coach. They were just so proud of me.
Bailey and her dad shared the same number 13 on the field. She keeps with her a necklace with a message from him.
My dad actually got this for Christmas for me. It says never bunt, and it says love, Dad.
She also ordered a unique keepsake to have a physical reminder.
His fingerprint, yes. Just like a piece of him. When I get nervous, I like grab my necklaces, so it's like kind of nice and it reminds me of him.
After the funeral, Bailey left behind a special memory that will stay with her dad forever. A softball from a home run she hit on what turned out to be his very last birthday.
He thought it was the best thing ever. I had to write on the ball after, and then I gave it to him. It was really hard, but I know he would have wanted that ball. He loved it so much.
This week, Washington starts what they hope is another deep playoff run. Bailey's last slate of games with the Panthers.
It could be over next week, it could not be, but I'm very excited, especially since we're hosting regionals. I'm very excited about that, and then, I don't know, this team this year is just really special, and I think we can go very far.
With her dad and Papa having a front row seat.
Once again, thank you so much to Bailey Parrott for your incredible strength and agreeing to talk with me. That was an incredible interview that you did, and I would not have been able to do that if I were in your shoes, especially at 18 years old. Well, coming up next, we're going to have our final story of the year. It is going to come from our Kurt Pegler, very timely, with Illinois State to run to the national championship, playing in just a couple of days. Sitting down with Wankers Right. It's part of our extra effort series, highlighting Central Illinois athletes for their work both on and off the field. It's a really great story about how he is helping his home country and his family as well. Stick with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Sideline Stories. I am Patrick Cunningham, weekend sports anchor of WMBD TV, here coming to you on the WMBD Plus app. So I've shown you 2 stories that I was able to do this past year in 2025. Now we're looking at one from Kurt Pegler. Kurt puts together a lot of great stories throughout the year. I don't know how he was able to whittle it down to just one. This one actually aired just a couple of weeks ago, as part of our extra effort series. So once a week on Thursday nights, Kurt will air a story that highlights athletes for their work both on the field and off. It can be through academics, through charity work, through service at the school, some kind of military sign up. I did one a few years ago on a Ridgeview Lexington football defensive end who spent the summer before his senior year going through basic training with the Marines, and he, I believe, is still active duty in the Marines to this day, about 3.5 years later. So it's a wide-ranging topic, but it basically is a great opportunity to highlight, I was trying to say show off and highlight at the same time, to show off our Central Illinois athletes for the work they do behind the scenes as well, that most people just don't get the opportunity. And while yes, it is easier footage-wise to make it the star athletes, a lot of times it's not the star athletes that get featured in these kind of stories, but in this case it is. Illinois State running back Wankers Right, who I believe will be back for the national championship game after getting hurt in the first round of the playoffs against Southeastern Louisiana. But Wankers Right, while he was raised in the United States, he was originally born in Haiti. And through NIL, we hear all about the bad effects of NIL, and there are a lot, but this is one of the good uses of it. He's raised money through his name and likeness, and he has sent money back to his home country of Haiti to help out his community, but also to help out his sister, who is trying to attend college down there. I will also say Wanker's right. One of the best smiles of any athlete I've ever covered. Great young man to talk to. I think anyone who remembers Peoria High running back Malachi Washington from about 3 years ago, he had a great smile as well, and he's still doing a lot of great work off the field after going to play college ball. But without further ado, Wanker's right with our own Kurt Pegler.
In Haiti, I didn't know what football was besides the football in Haiti, which was soccer.
Born in Haiti, Wanker's Right was adopted when he was 6. Moved to the U.S. and started playing football. Now a star at ISU, he's not forgotten about his humble beginnings. He still has family in Haiti that he supports through the name, image, likeness money he gets as a college athlete.
I started my own t-shirt brand with a WW Wanker's Right. It was just 2 W's stacked on top of each other, and we took all that money and we sent it down to them. Oh my goodness. So now on my own personal time with the little NIL money that I'm getting here, I'm supporting my sister. It's time for her to go to college. And it's reasonably cheap to go to a university in Haiti, but nobody has money down there.
Wanker's earned his bachelor's degree in 3 years and in May will graduate with a master's degree. He'll also get married next year, but he'll still have his eyes on his family in Haiti.
I'm nothing special really, but yeah, to them, I'm a rock star, and it means the world to me. I'm gonna definitely find a way to give back to them somehow. The money is from my doing, not because they're asking me.
It's just, it's really a cool story, and he's fought through a lot of adversity, and you know, he's probably what you call the American story, right?
That was head coach Brock Speck there, and I mean, can't get more American dream story than that. He's worked very hard, stuck with the Redbirds, stuck through some adversity the last couple of years. This year too, I mean, a lot of people forget before this Cinderella run, and I was there for their final home game, which was also the final game of the regular season. The Redbirds lost to Southern Illinois by 30 points. I think it was 37-7 was the final score, and it just looked like a completely different team. The Redbirds were probably already into the tournament, but seeding certainly dropped. They were one of the last 4 eventually let in, and I think Southern Illinois was one of the first teams left out. But hey, they've turned it on now, playing for a national championship. Wankers, I believe, should be back this upcoming Monday, and we hope to see them bring a national championship back to Central Illinois, which would also be their first national championship in program history. So good luck to them in Nashville. We hope that we wish them the very best. All right, that'll do it for this edition of Sideline Stories. For everyone here at WMBD and our sports director Kurt Pegler, I am Patrick Cunningham signing off. We'll see you next week on the WMBD Plus app, and as always, you can check out more of our everyday content that's on our website, ciproud.com. Thanks so much. Have a good day and a happy 2026.